Hi, everyone. Thanks for downloading the Money Girl podcast. I'm Laura Adams, the author of Money Girls Smart Moves to Grow Rich. Danielle wants to know, I have 8 credit cards and carry a small balance on just one of them. Several of the cards have started charging an annual fee that I don't want to pay. Would canceling those cards damage my credit score? When it comes to building and maintaining a good credit score, it's critical to know the right way to manage credit cards. Many people mistakenly believe that getting rid of their cards will automatically improve their credit, so I'm glad that Danielle asked this question. The surprising truth is that canceling credit accounts can work against you and damage your credit. Here are 3 tips to know so you can be strategic about pulling the plug on a credit account. Tip number 1, maintain high credit limits. Credit scores are largely based on the amounts you owe, including your utilization ratio, which is the amount of debt you have compared to your available credit limits. The lower your utilization rate, the better. Here's how to figure your utilization ratio. Add up all of your debt balances on revolving accounts, like credit cards, retail store cards, and lines of credit, and divide that amount by your total credit limits on those accounts. And by the way, balances you have on business credit cards or employer-issued cards will also affect your credit scores if they're in your name. This is true even if the company reimburses you for charges you make. Get a copy of your free credit report at annualcreditreport.com to find out what accounts are being factored into your credit scores. Let's say you have 2 credit cards, and each has a credit limit of $1,000. If you owe $500 on one and nothing on the other, your utilization would be $500 divided by $2,000, or 25%. That's a good ratio. You should always try to keep your credit utilization below 25 to 30%. You're penalized for having a high utilization ratio because it's a red flag to creditors. They figure if you can't pay down your balances, you must be spending too much and are a high credit risk. Consider what would happen if you cancel a credit card because you're not using it or you finally pay it off. Let's use my same example and say you close the card with a 0 balance that has a $1,000 credit limit. Now, your utilization ratio is totally different because your available credit limit has been reduced by $1,000. The revised math is $500 divided by $1,000, or 50%, which is too high. Even though you have the same amount of debt, your utilization ratio makes you appear less credit worthy because it's a larger percentage of your available credit limit, and your credit scores will go down. So you see that canceling a credit card can hurt your credit because it lowers your total credit limit and raises your utilization ratio. Canceling a credit card with a higher credit limit poses more of a threat than getting rid of one with a smaller limit. Likewise, requesting a credit limit increase on a credit card can boost your credit scores if your debt balances stay the same. If you have plans to finance a big purchase, like a house or car, in the next year or so, don't cancel any credit accounts. Jeopardizing your credit could ruin your chances for getting a low-interest loan and cause you to overpay interest for decades. However, I don't recommend that you keep a credit account if it tempts you to overspend. Taking a temporary hit to your credit might be worth it to prevent bigger problems in your financial life. Here's a quick and dirty tip. If you decide to close more than one credit account, space the cancellations out over several months so it doesn't affect your credit scores all at once. Tip number 2, build a long credit history. Another tip you should know before getting rid of a credit card is that the longer your credit history, the better. One of the reasons young people struggle to build credit is because they have a short credit history. It takes time to accumulate a long file that demonstrates your credit worthiness. Many people are under the impression that if they close a credit account or pay off an installment loan, that it immediately vanishes from your credit report. That's definitely not true. Your credit history sticks with you for up to a decade, and that's why it's important to keep it as clean as possible. Credit accounts with any negative information, like late payments or being in collections, stay on your credit report for 7 years from the date you became delinquent, with the exception of a bankruptcy, which can remain on your report longer. Accounts with just positive information actually stay on your credit file longer, for 10 years. When a closed account falls off your credit history, the average age of your open accounts drops, and that's why closing a good account can damage your credit. So never be quick to close an account with positive credit history, especially if you've already had it a long time. An active account stays on your credit file indefinitely, and if it has positive information, it's a boost for your credit scores. Tip number 3, keep a mix of credit types. Credit scoring models look at a variety of factors, including whether your accounts are paid on time, your utilization ratio, and the length of your credit history. The third tip you should know before canceling a credit card is that the number and types of credit accounts you have is also important. To build excellent credit scores, you need to demonstrate that you can handle different kinds of credit, such as installment loans and credit cards. If you only have one type of account, your credit history could be considered too thin. Therefore, never close a credit card if it's your only credit card. You need at least one credit card in the mix to round out your credit file. Ideally, you would have a total of 2 or 3 credit cards that come from different issuers, like Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover. Since Danielle doesn't want to get rid of all her credit cards, the main factors she should consider are whether the cards she'd close have high credit limits, how long she's owned the cards she would cancel, and whether she wants to finance a large purchase in the near future. For more strategies to raise your credit score fast, be sure to get my Credit Score Survival Kit. It's a free multimedia download that's packed with information to help you take control of your credit, so you qualify for low-rate loans, cheaper insurance, and many other benefits that come with having good credit. Just visit smartmovestogrowrich.com and click the button that says Credit Score Survival Kit for your free download. If you have a money or credit question, you can post it on the Money Girl Facebook page or send me an email at money@quickanddirtytips.com. If you're on Twitter, be sure to follow me under username @LauraAdams, LauraAdams with no space. I'm glad you're listening. Cha-ching! That's all for now. Courtesy of Money Girl, your guide to a richer life.